Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, where you are around the world. Before I start introducing this webinar, please let me inform general ground rules that we will all follow during this webinar. Firstly, all participants will be muted by default. If you have any comment that you would like to share during the presentations, please feel free to write it down in the comments item in the screen. If you have any specific question that you want to be addressed to the presenters, please add your question in the question and answer bar in the screen. Of course, we are expecting many questions. We will do our best to summarize these questions and address them as much as possible. If we will not able to address your questions, please bear with us that we will be able, hopefully, summarizing all these questions and getting back to you after the webinar. Thank you all. And I will start now introducing this webinar. Again, I would like to welcome all of you, all participants from all around the globe. And also, I would like to extend our welcoming to our experienced presenters from the International Road Federation, as well as from the United Nations Department of Projects. This webinar entitled "The Role of Road Safety Audits in Improving Traffic Safety." This webinar aims at mainly introducing the road safety management structure and the role of road safety audits and road inspections in the road safety management. They play an important and very core role. We need to understand their function, how these road safety audits being conducted, and requirements of these road safety audits. During this event, which extends to 3 days, we will have 3 webinar sessions starting from today, addressing the general structure of road safety audits and of road safety management, and concentrating on the procedure of conducting road safety audits, followed by the second session tomorrow at the same time, addressing the road safety audit requirement for designers, road designers, and how road designers can incorporate the comments of road safety audits in improving road design. The final session, the day after tomorrow, on Tuesday, on the same time, will be addressing road safety on tunnels, which is an important and essential element when addressing road safety in general. Before I start with this webinar, I would like to thank the organizers of this webinar, starting with Qatar Transportation and Traffic Safety Center in Qatar University, which is the lead academic unit that deals with road safety and transportation research in the state of Qatar, as well as the National Traffic Safety Committee of the state of Qatar, and the International Road Federation, who is joint all efforts with us to deliver this training program, as well as the World Conference on Transportation Research Society and the Khatib and Anami engineering consultation firm. Myself, I am Wael Al-Haj Yassin. I'm Associate Professor at Qatar Transportation and Traffic Safety Center and the Chair of Traffic Safety Analysis and Policy Special Interest Group in the World Conference on Transportation Research Society. I would like to welcome you again all. And today's program, as I mentioned, will mainly deal with road safety management. We have 2 distinguished presenters, Engineer Javier Lopez and Miss Susana Zamataro. So I will start introducing the first speaker, who will have the floor to provide his presentation. Engineer Javier Lopez, he is a senior road civil engineer with an extensive experience on road safety. He is currently a senior road safety specialist in the United Nations for Project Services Department, and he has been extensively involved in delivering a lot of training on road safety audits, either from an academic point of view in universities as well as in governmental sectors in Spain and UK. So his presentation today will be introducing the management of road safety in general in infrastructure and the role of road safety audits and road inspections in this framework. Dear Javier, are you there?
Good morning, everybody.
So I will stop my screen sharing.
Okay.
You can share your screen now.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Well, for the presentation. Thank you, Susana, for being with me because it makes me feel more important. Okay. And thank you, everybody, of course, for attending this presentation. I just want to highlight that I am representing mostly the Spanish Association of Road Safety Auditors, and that we are the same line as all the independent and the three only independent road safety auditors associations. So let's begin. Okay. So as I told you, what I am going to show you is the management, just making a little point of view for the management of road safety in infrastructure, focusing on road safety audit and inspection, because we have to make some answer to a very important question, that is, what can we do with this strong pandemic that is the road traffic injuries, okay? These are the facts. These are the facts. The fact is that we have 1.35 million people dying in our roads every single year. The fact is that this is the 8th leading cause of death in road traffic. The fact is that the first cause of death of the people under 30 years old. The fact is that is the 54% of the quantity of deaths in the roads are vulnerable users. The fact is that when in the high income countries, we have 40% of the vehicles, we have the 7% of all the deaths. The fact is that in the low income countries, there are only 1% of the world vehicles, but we have the 13% of all deaths. What is really, really a hard problem, okay? So, of course, everybody knows that this is a strong problem, but we have to do something about that. What is being done in the world? In the world, numerous international agencies such as the World Bank, the World Health Organization from the United Nations, as some other entities of the United Nations like ours, and some development banks like the Inter-American Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, etc., are committed to improving road safety in developing countries. Some samples of these actions is like that: United Nations Road Safety Fund, the Global State of Road Safety Report that are made by the World Health Organization, the World Report for the Prevention of Injuries and Traffic Accidents, also by the World Health Organization. And I want to call this report is the report on audits and road safety inspection in Latin America, made out by the Inter-American Development Bank, because, okay, we used to work in Latin America because they are mostly speaking Spanish countries, speaking Spanish countries, but the conclusions can be understood for people all over the world, okay? So, as you can see, this shows us that the concern and belief that we can do something about road safety in the world. You know, the United Nations have set 5 pillars of road safety, and they are the road safety management at the pillar 1, the safer transit and mobility routes, the second pillar, safer vehicles as the third pillar, safer users on the transit routes in the fourth pillar, and the response after accident in the fifth pillar. Of course, we are going to focus on the second pillar, that is the safer transit and mobility routes. In fact, the pillar 2, safer transit and mobility routes, say literally increase the intrinsic safety and quality of protection of road networks for the benefit of all road users, especially the most vulnerable. As we have seen, the 54% of the dead are vulnerable users. This will be achieved through the implementation of various road infrastructure agreement, road infrastructure assessment, and improved road planning, design, construction, and operation taking into account safety. Okay, normally everybody understands that it's a hard problem, but the question is how the people see the problem, to who they attribute the injuries. Because, for example, in that study from Australia, they understand that the human factor is the 94% of the responsible of the accident. The 8% is the responsible of the vehicle factors, and the 28% is only the 28% the responsible of the road factor. What I want to say is that most of the people understand that the human factor is mostly the responsible of the injuries, are mostly the responsible of the accidents, because of a bad interpretation of the facts, okay? For example, I have put 3 different samples very near my home. This, for example, that you cannot see the sign. In fact, it exists, but you cannot see the sign, even if it exists. And this is because of a lack of maintenance in the vegetation. When it occurs, in fact, it occurred an accident, they blame to the driver because he didn't stop. Another one, up on the left, you can see that there's too much, an excess of signing, and of course, an excess of signing is as bad as a lack of it. Okay, down on the left, this a road in the world. I am not going to say where is it, but it's really a nonsense just to leave this post in the middle of the road and think that just signing it's enough to avoid the impact or to avoid the accident. Okay. Another example, the responsibles or the authority of this road set these concrete planters just to avoid to invade the pedestrian and the cyclist path, to protect the pedestrians and the path with that planters. And okay, you can see that is not a correct vehicle restraint system. It's even the opposite, is a hazard instead of a solution. Okay, this is very sad to me because it's a girl that was working in Italy. It's a Cuban girl that went out from the road and she hit it the start of the nose of the barrier, and it is not important if the beginning, the nose of the barrier is well or bad treated, because it's the same problem all around the world. If it's under the standards, it's going to be a mistake of the driver, or if it is not in the standards, it's going to be a mistake of the authorities. It's the same result, it's a death. So we have to have treated, we have to have experts in road safety just to avoid these kind of things. Okay, so to have these experts, what can we do? In fact, what can we do in this second pillar? I have distinguished three phases. The first is planning phase, where we can do some road safety impact studies. The second phase, since the preliminary draft till the initial road operation, we can do road safety audits. And in the third, the road operation phase, we can do management of safety in road network and road safety inspections. Okay, let's focus on road safety audits. The definition is that it's an independent, detailed, systematic, and technical verification of the safety of the design characteristics of road infrastructure project, applied to the different phases ranging from planning to exploitation and its initial phase. The objective is to ensure that the roads from their first phase are designed with the optimal safety criteria for all users, verifying that these criteria are maintained during the project, construction, and commissioning phase of the same. The definition, on the other hand, for the road safety inspections is the periodic regular checking of characteristics and defects requiring maintenance interventions for safety reasons. The objective in that case is identify safety deficiencies in road infrastructure so that appropriate preventive measures are taken. The definition of the road safety audit then is a systematic procedure for checking road safety conditions. It should be done in all the stages. It would be done for all possible users of the track. We have to take into account of all possible users of the track, not only cars, not only trucks, not only buses, but of also pedestrians, motorcyclists, cyclists, whatever. And we have even to focus on that point. Remember that the 54% of the deaths in the world are vulnerable users. The auditor, and this is very important, that's why I have highlighted this, it should be independent, trained, and expert. For a road safety audit, it's not enough to have a good training course, but you have to have experience. Not only the training, the experience is very important, and we highlight really that that part, the experts. And of course, for the road safety audit, the independence. You cannot make a road safety audit if you depend in some way of the authorities of the road. So what is not a road safety audit? It's not a good or bad project assessment. This is not just a standards compliance check, and it is not a redesigning, okay? So it's like a medical view, I see. If you go, for example, to a doctor because you have an earache, you are not going to any doctor. You are going to a specialist in your ear, not any. And you go to any specialist in your ear that has a lot of experience in that, okay? So it's not enough to have engineers, traffic engineers, just to fix this problem in road safety. You have to have road safety specialists with a lot of experience in that. So why the road safety audits? Because they reduce the risk of accidents, because you focus on that part, the road safety, from the beginning. You reduce the severity of accidents, even in the worst case. You have road safety awareness. Of course, there are cost reductions, because don't forget that every single death costs a lot of money. For example, in Europe, we notice that it's like €1.5 million every death in the road. And of course, and this is very important, the compliance of standards does not guarantee safety, okay? I remember, medical view. We are engineering, but we are making a medical view. We see the problems we see the symptoms of the sick person, that is the sick road, and we propose the solutions for that problems. Okay. So which are the requirements of that road safety audit? It should be a multidisciplinary team, because it's more than one person that should be in the road safety team: a road safety auditor team leader and a road safety auditor team member at least. But also we have into account all these people that are involved in the life of this road: the policemen, the responsible of the road, the maintenance, whatever. Even the people that used to travel in that road. Okay, so let's think about a multidisciplinary team, but also, of course, the responsibility is of the road safety team, road safety auditors, that is the team leader and the team member. They should be impartial and independent, as I said, impartial and independent. So it should be not the people from the authority of the road. It should have clarity in the allocation of responsibilities. They should have capacity for dialogue and agreement. And of course, you have to produce some documentation so that everybody can understand and make the things to fix the problems. So, which is the process of the road safety audit? Normally, I know that Qatar is an exception, but normally we understand that there are 4 stages for road safety audit. The road safety audit tries to identify potential road safety problems and suggest solutions by which such problems may be minimized in the 4 stages. The preliminary design in stage 1, the detailed design in the stage 2, the construction of the road, I mean, before opening to the road operation, is the stage 3, and initial road operation in the first month of the operation, that is the stage 4. I mean, globally, and I say that Qatar is an exception because the first phase in Qatar is the feasibility design, is what we understand like a road safety impact study. So it's a different way of calling it, but it's the same procedure, okay? After this, we have the road safety inspections. I mean, during the road operation. As we, in the association, we understand that after all these stages, we can call road safety inspections. If you have no previous road safety audits, you should not call road safety inspection, and you should call the first study like a road safety impact study. Okay, as I told you, I want to highlight the conclusions of the Inter-American Development Bank study that was focused on road safety audits and inspections in Latin America. And you will notice that it's very, very similar all over the world, okay? So in Latin America, and I would say just in the whole world, the application of the road safety audits and inspections processes is very incipient and underdeveloped. There are no specific plans or programs for mandatory implementation of road safety audits and inspections regulated by current legislation. There are difficulties in being able to execute road safety audits and inspections because of the lack of human resources for this purpose. The technical and professional knowledge of the formally oriented aspects of an road safety audit and inspection is very limited and concentrated in few people or some officials who are affected by changes in government and rotation to other areas of state services. So it avoid what I was telling, was commenting that we should be experienced. So if there are rotation and there are no specific people working for that, we have lack of experience. Okay, the lack of knowledge of the concept and usefulness of the road safety audit and inspections makes them difficult to promote and adopt. So what actually do we have regarding road safety audits and inspections? The question is that the action in Pillar 2 are not being taken in a clearly effective and diligent manner, giving priority to the actions in other pillars, in the human factor and the vehicle factors and management. And I wonder if it would be not an economic reason to avoid this kind of actions. Because of course it's easier to blame the drivers and not to take the responsibility to fix all the problems about road safety in the roads. We have to notice that, and we have to highlight that, okay? Despite clear definition and technical indication of actions, the road safety audits are not being carried out or are poorly realized, as we have seen in the finding of the Inter-American Development Bank study, okay? Especially serious is the lack of independence, as I told you, when performing road safety audits and inspections. Many ministries of works makes their road safety audits with hierarchically subordinate personnel and without adequate training, having at least national road safety agencies or, for example, or international agencies that could comply with the principle of independence and technical capacity. So which is the United Nations approach? What we have adopted to do that? We strengthen national road safety agencies, training of independent road safety experts for development, or where appropriate, supervision of road safety actions regarding to the second pillar, such as road safety audits and road safety inspections. Unified training criteria of these experts according to the most up-to-date and cutting-edge standards. And in the United Nations Office for Project Services, we use the British GG 119 together with the SAFE system. We understand that is the best way to fix these kind of things and to undertake the road safety audits. Further ensuring that such training is provided by teachers with proven and vast experience in road safety audits, inspections, etc. We need to create and/or modernize road safety standards and manuals in every country, and we can help in that. Road safety audits and inspection standards and procedures, road safety management in road work, and accidentality data collections, procedure and management. And this is very important because I see that there are a lot of countries with a poor data collections of accidents. A good data collection of accidents allow us to do good road safety policies. Let's focus on the process of the road safety audits. In ASEBI, the Spanish Association of Road Safety Auditors, as in most of the of the authorities or the Association of Road Safety Audits, we understand that the system in place in the road safety audit system, there are three categories of road safety auditors: the team leader, or we call auditor leader. We should have a minimum of 4-year experience in accident investigation or road safety engineering. We have to have conducted at least 5 road safety audits over the past year, sufficient training to be a team member, what we call in Spain auditor auxiliar in Spain or Spanish-speaking countries, and a recycling course of at least 2 days in the field of road safety audits, accident investigation, or road safety engineering during the last 12 months. The second is the team member, what we call auditor auxiliar, that he should have, or she should have a minimum of 2-year experience in accident investigation or road safety engineering, conducting at least 5 road safety audits over the past 2 years, a training course of at least 10 days in accident investigation of road safety engineering, and a recycling course of at least 2 days in the field of road safety audits, accident investigation, or road safety engineering during the last 12 months. So the most basic road safety auditor is the observer, is people that has minimum 1 year experience in accident investigation or road safety engineering, and make a training course of at least 10 days in accident investigation or road safety engineering. Let me see. Okay, just a sketch of what I have said is, just to become a road safety auditor team leader, we first have a training course. After that, we have to make some road safety audit under the supervision of a team leader and a team member auditors during 1 year. And the second year, make some road safety audits like a team member. And then after this time, you become a road safety auditor, like a team leader. Of course, making annually a professional update activity, an update course of 2 days, and something like approved accident study. Okay, we understand that there are different point of views, different understanding about road safety audit and the road safety auditor process of training. The three only independent road safety auditor associations, that is the Society of Road Safety Auditors in Great Britain, the Fórum dos Auditores de Segurança Rodoviaria in Portugal, and the Asociación de Auditores de Seguridad Vial, that is the Spanish Road Safety Auditors Association. We understand, we have made an agreement, what we understand like a road safety auditor, and what we understand we have to do to become a road safety auditor team leader, okay? So which are the objectives of the agreement? First, support the Stockholm Declarations agreements at the Third World Conference on Road Safety, especially in those points. Number 1 and number 5, that are the international collaboration in the development of road safety policies for the exchange of experiences and knowledge. Number 6, that is encourage the use of the United Nations Road Safety Instrument, like for example, United Nations Office for Project Services, with regard to legislation and standards on road design and construction. And number 13, minimum road safety compliance standards for investment and improvement of road infrastructure. Unify criteria between the three only independent associations of the world, SORSA, the Forum, and ASEBI, that we are the three only independent associations of the world of road safety auditors in the definition, the training, and the maintenance of the figure of the road safety auditor based on training together, and very important, with experience and independence. The content of the agreement then is the definition of minimum content of the road safety audit training course, the development and maintenance phases in the training of road safety auditors based mostly on experience, and basing the agreement on the principles of equality, freedom, and independence of the three associations of road safety auditors. Let's take a glance of which are the difference from the road safety inspections. Then, because we have see what is and what can we do with the road safety audit. The definition of a road safety inspection is a systematic procedure in which a qualified professional checks the safety conditions of a stretch of road. It's all aspects of the track and its surroundings for all users. It's about going beyond the technical regulations. And the literal definition in the European directive is regular checking of the characteristics and defects requiring maintenance interventions for safety reasons. So as we understand, the only difference between a road safety expert that make a road safety inspection and a road safety auditor is the independence. But they should be also a well-trained expert and of course an expert. So let's take a glance to this sketch that is all the things we can do for a good road safety management in our roads. So the road safety strategy, I make a difference in new roads or in existing roads. In the new roads, we have preventive approaches. We should make road safety audits and road safety impact assessment. I remind that in Qatar, for example, these are together because the road safety impact study is the first stage of the road safety audit. But in existing roads, we have preventive approaches that they are the road safety inspections, and the palliative approaches that are management of accident concentration sections. Okay. I don't know if I have time. Okay, I have chosen some samples. I'm going to pass it fast because I think I have not enough time. Okay, I am going to focus mostly with these samples in what we could find in the road. So it would be about the road safety inspections and road safety audits in the third stage and fourth stage. Yes, it's under the construction previous or during the operation phase of the. This is one. We have a lack of the restraint system in the beginning of the road of the barrier, the beginning of a tunnel that we are going to watch the problems with Guillermo the day after tomorrow. Some problems that are very common all over the world. The beginning of a barrier that should be not in the same plane of the rest of the barrier. The joining of this barrier, what I told you before about the beginning and the nose of the barrier, some transition. Okay, this is a nonsense in my opinion of some markings not well erased. An excess, as I told you, of signing is as bad as a lack of this. In Asia, in Central Asia, for example, you cannot find here, for example, a pedestrian crossing. The view of this sign is very small and is completely apart from the road, and even the post is made out of concrete. Some jokes in the signing, in the variable signing, instead of take it seriously. It would Miguel Angel tomorrow is going to talk about this vision of the drivers and the influence in the road safety audits, the urban road safety audits, making some focus some places, slippery surfaces, the entrance of some population. This is in my town. The samples I am saying, they are all over the world, but I put this, for example, that is my own town, and this is 100, 200 far from my home, for example. We have mistakes all over the world, and we can do a lot of things to fix that. In Peru, in China, of course, they are very pretty, but if you have not a continuous pedestrian path, they have to go through the road instead of the pedestrian path. These are nonsenses like this is the pedestrian path, but you put a fence or a cyclist path that ends on a wall. And stop, that you have to stop, and you cannot turn to the right, and you cannot turn to the left. What should I do? Okay, that, for example, you should not go. You should go compulsory to the right, but in fact you cannot. Stop. It's better because if you don't you hit to the curb or pots that I don't really know what is it. So Thank you very much, and I hope it would be useful for you. You can see all these kind of things later at your disposal.
Thank you, Javier, for your very informative presentation. And actually, I'm flooded with a lot of questions about your presentation. And before we move to Susanna, let me ask you one important question, just to keep the sequence and to the information you presented. Most of the comments actually are evolved around the requirement to be a road safety auditor. So you explained several times that you need to have good experience on road safety, you need to have training on road safety, and so how much experience and how to get this experience. And this leads us to a very important question also, is that the lack of these personnel who are experienced based on the definition you proposed are not available. We have a lack of experienced road safety auditors worldwide, especially in the third world. So how we can address this lack, and how we can provide support, capacity building for such. I think also Susanna later on will be addressing this issue.
For sure, Susana is going to answer that very clearly. But in our opinion, of course, there's an enormous lack of people experienced in road safety audits. What we say is that, okay, for that kind of things, we have in UNOPS road safety team to help all the countries for these road safety training courses, and to undertake the first road safety audits, and to help these road safety audit observers and those road safety team members in the first 2 years. That we understand that is the minimum time to become a road safety auditor team leader. It's just to want it, okay? The question is that, okay, this is very expensive. Okay, if it's very expensive, and you know, for example, there are some studies in the Great Britain that if you undertake the road safety audit, the complete process, and make the things correctly, you can earn the third part of the injuries, the third part. And if every single death we earn $1.5 million, €1.5 million, just calculate how many money you can earn, and if it's how much money you can earn. Okay, so it's not only the human reasons that it's hard to say, but even the economical reasons is enough to convince the people to make road safety audits and road safety inspections, and to, of course, to train road safety auditor well done, conveniently.
Yes. So maybe I also elaborate on what you have explained, that I guess some of our attendees, they are not very familiar with the road safety audit procedure. As far as for Qatar, anyone who has experience in road safety audit or on road safety in general, either from his work duties or from his academic or involvement, he can start always as a road safety as a observer. And an observer, you always just involve with a team of a team member and a team leader, where you can observe the process of road safety audits and how it's being conducted and how is the requirement for that. And then you need to involve, of course, for trainings, which a minimum of 10 days, for example, in Qatar. And as Javier presented, I'm not sure other countries might have different requirements. Probably I see his face is saying mainly 10 days, so it's 10 days. Then you can submit your resume to be considered officially as a team member. However, as a team member, you cannot conduct an audit. You need a team leader. Therefore, you will be involved after being a team member in conducting road safety audits. Number of road safety audits are required. Further training is required. Further experience road safety is required. Then to apply and to become really a team leader. So there is a process. Please, you need to refer to the requirement in your country, the international practices, and we are always happy, the presenters and myself, to contact us if you need more information about that. There are a lot of questions also about the efficiency of road safety audits, and I will leave these questions later to the discussion part. And now we move to the next presenter. But before that, I just want to highlight that I'm receiving a lot of comments about three important items, which is firstly the certificates for this webinar. Or any person who participant who attend this 3 days program fully, and we have the attendance record already in the system, you will be eligible to receive an attendance certificate that IRF with the Qatar University will be issuing at the end. So if you attend the 3 days program, so if you attend only 2 days, you will not be eligible. You have to attend the 3 days program. The information about this program is available on the registration website in the IRF, which being communicated to you, and you registered there. So there is the agenda there. You can know the information in each webinar in each day, and how the timing as well. Now, regarding the link to attend, it's the same link. We have a unified one link where you can use to attend the 3 days webinar. So you didn't need to worry about what is the link for tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. It's the same link. You access the same link. You will access the same webinar in the 3 days. The last comment is regarding the records. Many as asking the presentations and the records. We will be sending links to the recording of all these 3 webinars to all registrants. So anyone registered, he will receive a link to the all recordings after the end of the program. This will be open for public, for all who are interested to know more about road safety audits and their role. So thank you. And now we move to the next presenter, Susana Zamataro. And I think most of us knows Susana very well. She's the Director General of the International Road Federation. She's one of the well-known experts in road safety and advocate internationally for road safety awareness. She's the co-chair of the Safer Roads and Mobility pillar of the United Nations Road Safety Collaboration Group. Susana today will address to us in her presentation the 10 steps program for improving road safety. Please, Susana, the floor is yours and you can start.
Thank you very much, Vahel, and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm so happy to see so many people online today. For some of us, this is still holiday, it's weekend time, because I see people from all over the world. It shows the interest and the need that we have to build capacity on road safety, and more specifically on road safety audits. I will start sharing my presentation. Let me see if it works. Vahel, give me a sign if you're seeing this well. Thank you. I've also been reading with a lot of interest the questions and the comments on the chat. I'm also saving all of them to make sure that if we are not able to address, because time is limited today, we'll try to get back to you. And I have a couple of tips at the end of my presentation and during my presentations to answer to some of the questions that have been posed. And thank you so much, Javier, for such an interesting presentation. Well, it gives you a sense that it's impossible to cover really this important topic in just 1 hour. Hence, that's why there's so much training, and the training takes long. You cannot become an auditor in 3 days. you can start putting the basis. And I think one of the very first comments before I get into my presentation is well, road safety audits are more about practice in the end. And I think Javier was saying, I understand all of you are trying to check what are the credentials and how do I become, but that at the end of the day, what makes a good road safety auditor is practice. And that's why Vahel was totally right, the importance of working as a team and on the top of it with somebody under the supervision of a team leader who's supposed to be the one with the greatest experience. It's learning by doing also type of exercise, and of course you need some preparation for that. Time is very limited, so let me quickly jump into the presentation. And this is really an example that will show you sometimes on how we can address some of the bottlenecks in this, right? Some of you were asking how, I mean, there's so much need for auditors, how do we do that, etc. The 10-step plan is one of the ways we're trying to answer and address this problem. 2 words on who we are so that you can also put into perspective and into context what I will be saying. The International Road Federation, for those of you who are not familiar, is an independent, and I'm very proud of underlining that independent word, not-for-profit organization. We're based in Geneva, Switzerland, but we operate globally around the world. Our membership encompasses the public sector, so road agency, ministries, the private sector, academia, and NGOs. 72 years spent working in the field, and road safety has always been a key pillar of our action. A lot of activities, but 3 main baskets, or what we call them strategic pillars: knowledge sharing and expertise dissemination, networking, so making sure that we connect, as we are doing today with these initiatives, and we are so proud of our collaboration with Qatar University, and especially the Traffic Safety Center, and all the team led by that works with Dr. Rahel. And so making sure that we connect businesses, people, association, ideas, and last but not least, advocacy work that we do at national level, but also international level. Another fundamental part of our work is data, and I think Javier was mentioning several times during this presentation on how it is important, how much is it important that we have good data to work on. We do give our contribution to the sector by producing annually the World Road Statistics. It's now 57 years that we have been collecting data, covering now 208 countries. These data are collected, and that's important for you to understand, from primary sources, so directly from the ministries, from the agencies, the national statistical offices. And our data are used by, I would say, any kind of stakeholders in the roads and mobility sector. So it could be a lot of the development banks, the MDBs use our data, companies, academia, NGO, basically anyone who works in our sector. One important piece of information for you, thanks to the support of the Total Foundation, this year we have been able to digitalize both not just the entire time series of our data, but also we have modernized our processes, and we do have an IRF Global Road Data Warehouse that services 2 purposes. On one side, there's a backend system that allows us to deal directly with the countries that can now input their own data on the data input portal. And on the other side, we have an interface for all our users that allows to understand, consult, understand, and visualize data also much more easily, because analysis is also fundamental. It's important not just to have data, but being able to understand and analyze those data. And we have complemented this piece of work with a series of dashboards hosted on Hesri that help, in fact, get a quick snapshot when it comes to countries or regions. And it's a fundamental tool that, especially for those of us who are involved in advocacy work, we need to translate the information and data we have with something that policymakers can understand quick and fast, and as well as probably even the citizens. And here are some examples. Now, going to the 10-step plan. The 10-step plan has actually been developed in 2019, so last year, within the project group 2, the Safer Roads and Mobility group of the United Nations Road Safety Collaboration Group. UNRSC is a collaborative effort that brings around the table the regional commissions of the United Nations, some private sector representatives, the development banks, so the MDBs, and most of the organizations that work on road safety. So Global MCAP, IRF, and many others, including, of course, the NGOs. What is the purpose? Why have we done this? The idea is to really provide a framework that can support countries who are seeking to implement initiatives in relation to improve road safety, improve safety and road infrastructure, and the achievement of the UN Global Targets 3 and 4 for safer, new, and also existing roads. The publication is freely available on GTKP. GTKP is the Global Transport Knowledge. I see there's a mistake here. I will correct it before we share it. It's the Global Transport Knowledge platform or portal, and which is managed by the IRF. I'll just see. There you go. And here you have the correct address for the website. Why am I mentioning this? And sorry if I'm taking a bit of time. There are plenty of resources which have been produced by the group that I have the honor and the pleasure to co-chair. So the ones that look specifically on infrastructure, and that have been produced by the UNRSC and that are currently hosted on the GTKP portal. Some of those resources, and I hope we will have time, Vahel, when we try and answer the questions so that I can show exactly where they are. A lot of this material that you see now displayed here in 4 main baskets will answer a lot of the questions that I've seen, the question and answers today, and we'll get back later on. This is all material which is freely available for you. Let me do this. Now, I said that the 10th step is really a framework that needs to support, that aims to support countries in achieving target 3 and 4. So let's have a look at what these target 3 and 4 are exactly. The target 3 says that by 2030, all new roads achieve technical standards for all road users that take into account road safety or meet a 3-star rating or better. And target 4, by 2030, more than 75% of travel on existing roads is on roads that meet technical standards for all road users that take into account road safety. So I think that clarifies for you and puts down the setting. What you see on the right-hand side of my slide is the new target that we have. As you know, many of you probably know, the United Nations General Assembly in September just approved a new resolution on road safety, declaring a new decade of action for road safety, which is going to start next year. And the objective is really to have road death by 2030. Now, the business case for safer roads, it's a very compelling case. And I'm borrowing this from one of the presentations that Rob McKierney has done, because I think it speaks for itself. If you're just looking at it from the angle of investments, look at what we know already. The return on investment, if you are in lower income countries, is $18 for every dollar that is invested on safer infrastructure. Lower middle income countries, $11, upper middle income countries, $15, and you see going forward worldwide, we estimate $8 return investment for every dollar that is invested in road safety and safer roads. So we have a very good case. It's a very compelling case. Investing in road safety is a good investment. Now, going to the 10-step plan for safer road infrastructure, we are delivering this pilot now in Tanzania. It's a 2-year project funded by the United Nations Road Safety Fund, and there's also co-funding from the Global Road Safety Fund of the World Bank. The project is under the leadership of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, and in partnership, and the implementing partners are the International Road Federation, and we're very pleased to be the project lead for this one, IRAP, PIARC, and the Tanzania Road Associations, and many others of the stakeholders in the country. The aim is to build institutional capacity and regulatory framework to support UN Target 3 and 4 in relation to safer road infrastructure. Summarizing, but in a few minutes I will give you a little bit more on details. What we are trying to deliver at the end, or three of the expected outcomes, is the setting up of a national RAP program in the country, training and accreditation system at the national level, and immediate impact on new roads and upgrades. Now, if I go quickly, and Bahel, allow me a few minutes for this, I'm not going to go into the details, but it's just to give you an overview of what the 10-step plan is. As you can see already in the slide, we have 3 major milestones in a way. In the very first part, step 1 to 4, we are taking stock of what is really already happening, what is in place in the country, and that's what we call, in between ourselves, the gap analysis. So we will kick off with a national safer road infrastructure workshop that will bring around the table all the major stakeholders, 360 degrees, not just the agencies, but private sector, academia, NGOs as well, because it's not a project of IRF or UNECA or the United Nations. It's a project for Tanzania, and Tanzania has to take ownership of it. Step number 2, we'll do a road infrastructure management organizational mapping to understand exactly where the competencies are, how are they split it up, and how the system functions. Then we will pass in review national state operational policies, standards, guidelines, and financing arrangements, and we'll look into the existing or we develop, if it's not existing yet, national safer road infrastructure strategy and action plan. Step number 2, or let's say milestone number 2, we're looking and zooming into the national standards and training. So we'll take a very close look at the design standards in the country to see to which extent they do fit the requirements of the UN Global Road Safety Performance Targets. And step 6 is extremely important for the conversation we are having today. There are very often bits and pieces of training being done here and there, and there are few countries where there's a central, strong national training and accreditation and certification system, and that's what we will try to build with this project. When we move to the third block, infrastructure safety management, here again we're going towards the building institutional capacity but at the same time going operational. So the objective is to really create a national road assessment program like the China RAP, the India RAP, or the Brazil RAP. Make sure it stays in the country after the project has delivered. We will work on a series of projects already lined up, and then we know will be happening in the country. We will look into and assess the design and perform audits as well on those. And we will strengthen the national capacity for infrastructure road safety at all levels: data management, performance tracking, monitoring, and evaluation. The step 10 is also very important because we need to make sure that we celebrate success in the end. Very often we deliver, we complete the project, and it just stays there. It's important that we show that things are possible, they can be done, and they can be done well. Vahel, I'm getting to the end of my presentation. I know we are almost running out of time. In a nutshell, what we want to do with this project is really to build lasting institutional benefits in the country. We want to make sure that we mobilize national and international partnerships and collaboration. Hence, we have pool our hands together in terms of international agencies like IRF, PIARC, IRAP, and others to show really the way and show immediate impact on new roads and upgrades. So it's not just a theoretical exercise. The very last part of the project will be really implementing everything we have built and already in some of the ongoing projects in the country. This is my last slide, just to let you know that we hosted on 9th of September a webinar to zoom really into the 10-step plan. So I think it will be very useful for many of you on the line today. The webinar recording and all the proceedings, so all the presentations are available on the IRF website in this link. And as Vahel just said, we're going to share with you the presentations, so you will have access, so no worries. Thank you very much. Vahel, back to you.
Thank you, Susana, very much for this very nice presentation that give us an overlook of how the United Nations and how the international community going to address road safety in general, especially in developing countries. So now we come to the discussion session. I will start with you, and then we go to Khafir, and both of you can comment on the many questions I'm receiving actually in the question and answer sheet. Firstly, let me start with several comments that have been made by participants regarding the previous decade of action and the new decade of action. How the new decade of actions considered the achievements of the previous decade of action. In which items, in which parts, we can see that what we have learned there, either in terms of success or in terms of failures, are reflecting on the new decade of action.
Thank you, Vahel. Yes, and I saw a couple of questions as well on that. It's probably difficult to make justice to this question with the limited time that we have, but I want to share with you a couple of information. First of all, in 2017, the member states of the WHO, the World Health Organization, have agreed and approved 12 global targets to measure progress. And this is what we call in between ourselves within the UNRC, the voluntary targets. So we do have a very clear now mechanism to monitor progress. On the top of it, as a collaboration, so the UNRC has even produced a much more detailed document that allows countries as well to build their own monitoring system in place for each of the 12 targets. And all this information, I think I will start sharing my screen again to show you all this information, and this document is available on UNRC website, so you can get the details in there. Indeed, when we were getting to the Stockholm Ministerial, there's been a number of things done. One of them has been, of course, an evaluation of the decade of action. There's a specific document that has been drafted and presented in Stockholm, and we'll make sure that we will share it with you. And another important piece of information is the report that has been produced by the academic group in time for the ministerial conference, and that has informed the ministerial declaration that has come out. I would strongly advise you to look into these documents to find justice to the question you are asking, because it would take a lot of time to address it now. And I don't want to get into this, because we need to really take a closer look at each of the pillars. And I wouldn't want to now reduce that conversation on just, oh, we need to do more on this and more on that. One point that came out very strongly from the conversations within the UNRC that we have noticed, Pillar 5, which is the post-crash care, has been always a little bit the poor child in all these efforts. And that's a strong point, if I may, that I want to do it here, is while each one of us thinks about no more enforcement, no more infrastructure. Again, let's not forget the values and the principles that are behind the safe system approach. It's the safe system approach. All the bits and pieces are fundamental. If there's been a bit of lack of action, or we could have done more, it's the pillar 5 on the post-crash care. And that requires a lot of work with, it's not just Ministry of Works or Ministry of Transport, it requires a lot of coordination with plenty of other ministries.
Let me follow up with the safe system approach. We received several comments that whether the safe system approach is really suitable for developing countries. Developing countries, low-income countries, they have a different institutional, system, and even the multi-sectoral collaboration within the country sometimes is missing and sometimes is not clear. So how a safe system, a very sophisticated safe system, can be implemented and successful in such countries?
I don't think the safe system approach is actually complicated. It's very straightforward. And the idea is to make sure that each country absorbs that thinking and translate it in something that works. You need to have the basics in place. You need to have a good road agency, make sure you get some budget. So you don't need to have complex, sophisticated system in place. You need to have some key fundamentals in place. A road safety agency, resources, good training of people, standards in place, a good data collection system. And I can understand that it can feel very overwhelming for many of the low and middle income countries. But just start somewhere. Start with the data. There's plenty of training available. There's plenty of technical assistance available. So it is possible. And we're seeing that happening in many countries. The 10-step plan is yet again, another plan to help countries move forward. Not just by delivering, again, bits and pieces of training and approach, but we are addressing institutional capacity. And we want to see results, long-term results and impact.
And absolutely right. And I can also elaborate that simply the road safety, the safe system provides a conceptual framework where all the elements of road safety are connected. And once you want to address road safety, it will help you to overlook all the elements that need to be considered. And then you cannot really neglect one item, because road safety is actually not a one item issue that need to be addressed. You have to address it from engineering perspective, from education perspective, from enforcement perspective. And this road system is just a conceptual framework that can be adjusted and changed based on the requirement of each local country. And as Qatar did, Qatar took this road safety system and had a very thorough evaluation of the system and went more deeply in categorizing all elements to develop a more sophisticated system. That, of course, Qatar did not start this from the beginning, but the beginning they took the system, they tried to do something, implement, looking over all the safety problem, and then going more and more deeper on mitigating this road safety issue in general.
Bahel, if I may, and I'm sorry to interrupt you because I think I didn't address the question about the new decade of action. Yes. We are all at work as a community to, in fact, prepare a new action plan for the decade. And when I say we, it's the UNRSC, it's all the regional commissions of the United Nations, it's all the Millennium Development Banks. We are all at work. But from the preliminary conversations, it's very clear that we already done a lot of work. The Save Lives package, for example, it's a fantastic example that translates clearly into practice most of what the safe system approach type of concept demands us to do. So know that we are at work. It should be, yes, the new decade will kick off next year. And in May 2021, during the UN Road Safety Week, it will be probably our opportunity to really bring people up to speed with the new plan of action.
Thank you. So now we move maybe to Javier. There is a lot of comments about road safety audits, and let me start first from a fundamental question that I have received several times. What's the difference between road safety audits and road safety inspections?
I think maybe I do it not correctly, but I would say that the main difference is the independence. Of course, both of them should have road safety experts to undertake all these kind of works, okay? These road safety experts should be well trained, and of course they should have enough experience to undertake this thing. But the only difference is that the inspections, you can do it with people without with a relation with the authorities, and not in a road safety audit. In a road safety audit, you should be completely independent.
So the road safety audit is a requirement, yeah, for institutional requirement to do for your projects in different stages, while road inspections are just an inspections that can be done by the project owners themselves with other people to investigate any issue.
Completely. For example, for the team that are responsible of the maintenance of the road, or the technical the techniques of the authorities, it could be completely. This is our advice. This is our assessment. Of course, every single country has to do his own work, and they are independent, of course.
Bahel and Javier, if I may, because I wanted also to show, because I can assure you as co-chair of that group that looks into safer infrastructure, we spent almost 2 years in trying to agree on the difference between what is a road safety audit, what is inspection, what is an assessment, because different countries have different practices and have different definitions. If you allow me quickly, I'd like to, and because I think it's going to be very useful for a lot of the people on the call. Do you see my screen? This is the DKP website, and with UNRSC, we have created here a specific section to host all the knowledge resources that we have been produced. So if I enter the Safer Roads and Mobility one, the one specifically looking at infrastructure, you will find plenty of resources in here. In the focus area too, we have actually screened everything that exists in terms of road safety infrastructure management tools and methods. And in fact, we have been looking at this issue of differences and requirements for road safety audits, inspection, and et cetera, and et cetera. So I would invite everyone to really take a look. We have, after, yes, long months of discussions, we came up, let me see if it shows, a quick table that you see here that we call the entry tool to the different methods. So that distinguishes, we're trying to classify into these boxes what is audits, inspection, and assessments. And the main distinctions we have made, are you looking at new roads or existing roads, and whether you're taking a proactive approach or reactive approach. I'll stop here and invite everyone to really take a look at all these resources. So you see there's a specific box for each of the tools. And when it comes to, if I go back, also tools answering some of the questions that have been done on the engineering capacity building, etc. Within the UNIC, we have been trying to identify what are the key core skills that are needed for each of the professions, and what would be the minimum learning requirements for a decent road safety auditor course, etc., etc. And you find them all on GTKP. I'll stop here, otherwise we get too long. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, we follow on the same issue. regarding, especially for new planned roads, so which mainly related to road safety audits through the planning to the design to the construction and then operational stage. I have many questions about road safety audits in the design and in the planning stage. How much these are effective? For many reasons. First, many designers, they say our design is safe and based on actual practice. So designs are usually safe. First one. Second point is that most of the road safety audits are being paid by the designers as part of their requirements. So how are we going to ensure independency and truly that the road safety audit is being taken seriously and being implemented effectively on the design?
Okay, just one point that I want to keep clear is that as we understand, a road safety inspection should only be called a road safety inspection if you have made before road safety audits. If not, we consider a road safety impact assessment. Because we have to make a new study of everything. You can find it in most countries of the world. You have the luck in Qatar that everything in road safety process are perfectly structured. Okay, so this is a luck. I would like that Spain has the same, but we cannot have the same, or the Latin America can. But every single step is good. Okay. About the question that how can, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Regarding the road safety, the audits in the design stage, how
Yes,
much?
okay. Of course, if you take into account road safety from the first moment, you are going to improve that. But I prefer this question to be answered tomorrow because Miguel Angel, of course, know perfectly the world in Qatar in the road safety audit, and he is going to talk about the road safety audit for designers.
But this is not only related to Qatar. I have some comments from, for example, who are saying that in the last 10 years, we have a road safety auditing program authorizing. However, road safety has not been improved. We are in the same situation. We are conducting road safety audits. We are doing road safety audits in the design and the planning. But are these sufficient to really do road safety audits?
I have showed all the process, of course. And of course, they're super useful to make road safety audits from the very first beginning, and making from the project. Because, of course, correct the mistakes in paper is rather more cheap. It's much more cheaper than that make it in the reality after the construction of a road. Okay, so we can do a lot of things in any case, in any country. If you have a country that you have never done anything about road safety, you can do a lot of things. If you have, you have to do some road safety works in a country like Qatar has a well structure about road safety audits, you can do the same. But you have to give the importance it has. Comply the standards doesn't guarantee the road safety. And Miguel Angel is going to show it perfectly tomorrow.
So I think more we can discuss more regarding the road safety and design tomorrow with Miguel. Susana, I have a very fundamental question. We always say we need experience. We need experience in road safety. We need qualified road safety team members, team leaders to conduct. The question that I am receiving here is that many countries, they don't still uh, regulate road safety audits and enforce them. Without having road safety audits, how are you going to build capacity and how are you going to build experience and how are you going to have experienced people? So what is the way for countries? And actually this is leading many countries to just outsource road safety audits. A lot of companies from different developed countries are coming just to do this without really building capacity in that country. So how IRF, United Nations, this leading international community could help in developing sustainable road safety inspection or auditing programs inside different countries.
Thank you, Wahel. That's exactly what we're trying to do with the 10-step plan. one of the key components will be not just training the people during the span of the project, which is 2 years. We are trying to make sure that we build the system within the country. And most of those countries, including Tanzania, have actually, they do have some sort of a system or process in place. It's clearly not working as it should or not to its best. So part of the project will be really to review, first of all, if you remember the very initial part, the gap analysis, who is doing what in the country? Is it working? Is it not working? Where are the gaps that we need to fill and to address, and how are we going to address them? So one of the key outcomes of the project will be, in fact, to make sure that we leave the country with a solid national training accreditation system in place, which is not complicated, right? And we also make sure that there's capacity built within the country. So our intention is really to work with the local universities, with the engineering association in the country, to make sure that once we leave, the project is over, this can still move forward. And we are here, I mean, we're here to back up. IRF hosts plenty of trainings around the world. We do have MOUs and collaborations with the University of Qatar, the University of Birmingham. So it's part of our mission. But that's exactly the same reflection that we have made. We are always looking at the problem downstream for trying to do some training and collect. But that work is fundamental. You need to train people, of course. But
maybe, Susana, I follow up with the same, because for the same answer, some comments are addressing IRAP. You emphasize on the importance of IRAP, and it's becoming more and more important. A lot of investment from the World Bank towards implementing and developing IRAP programs. However, most countries, they don't have experience with IRAP. So it's simply a consultancy fund that enters to these countries by international firms, without really seeing a direct investment or a direct building capacity on the country. So how IRF is helping to develop maybe IRAP and advocating for importance of IRAP, but as a prime element locally within the country.
Exactly. So that's as well one of the key components of the 10-step project. And that's why we wanted so much to have it here today. Part of the training, trainings will be delivered on road safety engineering, because we need for some to put some basis. There will be trainings on road safety audits and inspections, and there will be trainings on IRAP methodology as well, on the assessment. And IRAP has tremendously developed its own training offer as well, and also reducing quite a bit cost. And there's plenty of technical assistance which is available, and that allows today those training to be really accessible with few dollars to everybody. So my recommendation, we look forward to deliver the Tanzania pilot, and we want, the plan is to make sure that with that, we're able to show what is possible and how to do it, so that it can be replicated and scaled up in so many other countries, and not just in Africa, but all over the world.
And let me tell you just one thing. Of course, in the United Nations Office for Projects and Services, you can find any office of UNOPS in every country of the world. And we have developed a program to train and to make a theoretical and practical training of road safety auditors and, of course, road safety inspectors. That is as I said, the only difference is the independence. So we can train people, and we can help people to become road safety team leaders, just helping in the first road safety audits. We are just at your disposal.
Thank you, Javier. So I think we are about to end. We have only 1.5 minutes, and let me ask the final question, which I received also several comments. Susana, you addressed a lot in your presentation as one element in the 10-step is road safety engineering. Road safety engineering. Javier, you are a road safety auditor and an engineer. There are many road safety auditors who are not engineers. So how road safety engineering need to be built, and what and for what connection with the road safety audit procedure? Is it means that we prefer our road safety auditors to be engineers, road engineers, so which will give them more wider view on the safety issues around roads? What is your thoughts about this, Hafi? Then we move to final comments by.
I am going to talk about from my experience. Okay, my experience here in Spain. I am a civil engineer, but I haven't received a training about road safety in all the years of my career about road safety. I have received a lot of training about a lot of things, even in roads, but not in road safety. Okay, I know how to calculate the package of the road and how to support whatever, but not about road safety. All the training that I have received about road safety, it has been after the postgraduate course. But it depends of the country. For example, in Spain, you should be an engineer to become a road safety auditor. But there are some other countries, like for example, Great Britain, you should only have some experience in road safety and in accidents or whatever to become a road safety auditor. But of course, as I said, the main thing you have to take into account is the experience.
Thank you.
All the process about experience.
Yes, yes. Susana?
If I can add to that, what we have always been preaching or discussing within UNRSC is also the diversity of the team. It's a team that delivers an audit, and it's extremely important that it's diversified. So more and more we look at profile, including profile, for example, who have psychology type of background, because that helps you, assess what you're looking at in a different way from the perspective of the user as well. And I'm sure a lot of the engineers here might not be, but every competence is important. And of course, engineering has to be there, but the diversity of the team, I think it is what makes the team really successful.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you, Javier. Thank you, Susana. We had I hope that our participants enjoyed this 1.5 hour webinar. I would like to thank you very much, Javier and Susana, for your time today, for your efforts. And I would like to now share my screen. I would like to introduce the next webinar tomorrow, which will address road safety audits in the design stage. So road safety audits and the design. And we have Engineer Miguel, also from the United Nations Department of Projects, who will be presenting and discussing about this important issue. It will be in the same timing at 1 p.m. Doha time to 2:30. And you can use the same link to access this webinar. I would like to thank you again, all of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the tremendous number of important questions we received. We have more than 120 questions, actually, around 120. And I think, Susana, we need later on to do something to respond to all those who could not really address their questions. Thank you all. Have a good day. And we're looking forward to see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you very much for.
Gracias, Javi. Bye-bye.
Gracias.
Frego, Susana.